Welcome to the Honorable Dr. Habee Bullah Affandy as a Program Chairperson, No Media Communication, Faculty of Business and Communication. And for the topic today is Media Ethic and Responsibility in the Digital Age. And for today's session is being live streamed on the University of STEKOM YouTube channel. And now I will read our agenda this afternoon. First, we will start class presentation delivered by Dr. Habee and continue with the Q&A session. Then for documentation and last thing is closing. Okay, let's begin. We will start class today for Dr. Habee. The time is yours. Thank you.
Novita, can you hear me about my voice?
Yes, clearly.
Okay, can I start now?
Of course.
Okay. Yeah, Assalamualaikum and good morning to all participants and viewers, especially from those from University of STEKOM. My name is Dr. Habee from University of Malaysia Perlis. So just a little bit background of my background. So I'm in the field of media and communication. So everything that relates with media, especially in terms of media usage, social media, and whatever online content, that is my area of expertise. Right. So for today, I will give a short talk entitled Media Ethics and Responsibility in the Digital Age. Right. So basically, today's talk, we will explore the evolving landscape of media ethics in the digital age. Right. So there are several key principles, emerging challenges, vital role and responsibility of media practices, and some of the methods that we must consider when we want to ensure that we are ethical when we are dealing with media content and media and any activities that relates with the usage of media, right? So basically that is the talk for today, right? So first of all, I need to explain what is actually media ethics, right? We first must understand what is considered media ethics, right? For all basic understanding, when we talk about ethics, it is more or less like something that we should do, right? Or the basic thing that we need to apply, right? So in media ethics, so it encompasses principles and standards that guide responsible media creation and dissemination. Okay, so this principle prioritize truth, accuracy, fairness, accountability, and respect for individuals and communities. So basically, media ethics relates with the creation and dissemination of content to ensure that the content that we create and the content that we disseminate or spread around, especially in the digital media, contain actual facts and is not containing any false information, right? So in order for you to be ethical, you must first ensure that the content of media must be truthful. It must be facts. It cannot be something what we can say like fake news, right? So that is the basic definition of media ethics. So in today's digital age, we can see a lot of fake news, a lot of information that are being disseminated have characteristic of false facts, rumors, gossips. Now, that is a scenario where we can see that some of the creators of or digital content creators don't have the right ethical practice when creating this digital content. Now, this will result in fake information being disseminated around, especially in the digital world. Okay, now, why is it important for content creators, especially, to have media ethics? First is, of course, it is important to help in building trust, right? Media ethics fosters public trust and confidence in information sources, crucial for a well-informed society. So if we have a good practice of media ethics, it can create a more trustworthiness kind of environment Okay, all the information can be relied upon. Okay, if you don't have if you don't have good ethics, all information can be in doubt. We cannot really sure whether that information is correct or not. Okay, and of course, for especially for organization, you have to practice good media ethics because you need to maintain your credibility. Okay, ethical practices when creating the media content, especially in terms of unbiased reporting, providing the right content, can help establish the credibility of your institutions. Whether you're a university, whether you're a business organization, or whether you're even just a news organization or even an entertainment organization. When you want to create content, the content that you produce must be credible. That will help to establish the reputation of your organization. Right. Now, another reason why media ethics is important, especially in our digital age nowadays, is because of the amplified reach. Right. Now, because everything is online nowadays, information can be spread around the world instantly, easily. Right? For example, in Indonesia, if you want to create content in Indonesia, it can simply be disseminated around the world just by a click of a button. The information can be reached to Africa, the US, the UK, just by a click of a button. So because of that, it is easy for information to be spread around in a very large scale. So that is why it is important for us to have a very good media ethic practice so that whatever content that we produce is disseminated around the world based on truth, facts, and figures, right? And of course, nowadays the second important on why media ethics is important is because of the blurred lines. Blurred lines here mean nowadays in the digital world there is a blurred line between official content creators such as news agencies and also public, especially online users. It is very blurred because anyone can create content, whether you're a news agency or whether you're just a public. Anyone can post Facebook posts, Instagram posts, TikTok videos, YouTube videos. Anyone can create content. So there is a very blurred line between what is the official information and what is the unofficial information, right? So user generated content usually have a lower standard of accuracy and responsibility because they are not uh, limited to certain governing bodies. They can just create any content that they want, right? So it is vital for media users, especially the public, to really filter out what kind of content can be considered factual and what are the kind of contents that just may contain certain elements of fake news, right? So, but because of the concept of anyone can be a content creator, so it is vital for almost every content creators to ensure themselves or equip themselves with the right knowledge to ensure that they practice ethical media content creation process, right? Okay. Now, so why is it crucial? When we talk about media ethic, why is it considered very important? First is in terms of trust and credibility. Like I said before this, your content that you want to create, whether you want to disseminate online, will influence the credibility of the creator, right? Now, for example, if you have created a lot of content that people have fact check and identified that a lot of it is fake news. Now, it first will influence your public perception, right? Whether the public will have a negative impression or have a positive impression because of your content, right? Uh, I've seen some scenario that happened in Indonesia where a few years back, if I'm not mistaken, that there's a religious scholar. his video was viral because of some issues regarding some sellers in the mosque. So what happened is that that religious scholar got a lot of negative backlash. So because of that, the public have a very negative reputation towards that particular personality, right? Okay, another thing in terms of trust and credibility is of course influence on decisions. This we can see especially in terms of political issues, right? So in terms of media content, the media especially, it has a role in shaping the public opinion, right? Whether influence the public opinion in terms of making decisions. For example, let's say one media outlet is giving out a lot of negative information regarding a certain politician figure, right? This politician is bad, this politician is not the right person to be voted. Now, this kind of content somehow can influence the public if they are consuming this kind of content. So this all sort of information being given by the media can influence decision making towards the public, because whatever information that they want to make the decision is based on the content given to them by the media. So it is important for the media or the content creator to provide information that is unbiased and accurate, so that this kind of content can help the public to make informed decisions, not just based on bias, not just based on personal preferences, right? Okay. Now, the second important why media ethics is critical is because of social impact, right? In terms of social impact, there are two important aspects that we need to be looked at. First is promoting understanding, right? A good media content, especially when you have content that contain factual data, unbiased reporting, it promotes understanding and empathy, especially when we want to talk about sensitive issues that have a total 50-50 kind of polar opposite of each sides. So it helps to promote understanding, right? And the second one is, of course, countering misinformation, right? Nowadays, a lot of fake news is being disseminated around the world, especially when you look back during the COVID-19 crisis, right? A lot of fake news, or why this what is wrong with the vaccines? There are a lot of fake news regarding the vaccines. There are a lot of fake news regarding the origin of the virus. So there are a lot of misinformation. So with good ethical practice in producing media content, it helps to counter misinformation, because more and more factual information are given out to overcome this kind of misinformation, right? Okay, and the third one, why is it crucial? Is of course because of legal and reputational risks. Okay, first of all, in terms of legal consequences, if you generate media content that is not right in terms of ethical, for example, you are copying someone else video content without any permission, you're using materials from other people, this can cause legal consequences, especially during this AI trend where people just generate everything based on AI. Sometimes, especially in terms of media such as sounds, videos, images, these are concerning with trademarks. But if you don't have the knowledge on how to use this kind of media, you can have negative effects in terms of legal consequences. People might sue you for using their materials without any permissions, right? So that is why it is important. You need to have know-how on how to use this kind of materials online, or to simply just to how to generate content online based on the right ways. Okay. Second one is reputational damage. That is what I've seen. We have seen a lot of online personalities nowadays. have their reputation damaged because of what they post online, because of the opinions that they share online. So because everyone can see what are being disseminated, what are being created, and what are being shared. So if you have simply just commenting on negative issues without any fact checking, it can damage your reputation, especially if you are a public figure or you are representing an organization. This can damage the reputation of that organization or your own reputation, right? So it is very important for content creators, especially, or those who are uh, responsible to manage the media content for a certain organization. You must know what is the ethical way on creating this digital content. Otherwise, if you just simply generate content without any reference, without any know-how, it can likely can damage your reputation or create some sort of negative effect, right? Okay. Now, when we create digital content, actually we are more or less playing the role of a journalist when you are posting something, right? There is a principle of journalism there, especially when you want to deliver out information or giving certain facts. Okay, so because of that, there is there is an important practice where you must apply the principle of ethical journalism, where you must ensure three things. First is accuracy, where you must ensure whatever information that you give out to the public, it is accurate based on factual facts and data. Okay. Second one is in terms of fairness, where you must avoid any bias. Okay. It must present a balanced view, offering diverse perspectives and providing a fair representation of all sides of a story. Especially if you are talking about certain sensitive issues, you must be fair to all parties involved, not being too biased, right? And of course, finally, you must be transparent. Okay, whatever uh, methods, or any potential conflict of interest, it must be informed to the audience to avoid any bias perceptions. Right now, in the digital age nowadays, there are a lot of challenges that makes it vital for you to practice ethical content creating practice. Right, the first one, the rise of social media has accelerated the spread of misinformation, posing a challenge to ethical media practices. Now, everything nowadays can simply be shared throughout the whole world just from a click of a button. Is that easy? So a lot of people can just give out information where this create a lot of opportunities or the spread of misinformation. So this is a challenge. How do we filter out what is right or what is wrong? Okay. Now the second one is of course the blurring lines between news and entertainment, with increased clickbait and sensationalization often prioritizing views over accuracy. Now, this is especially when you look at news headings online, but what we call as clickbaits. Sometimes the title does not really portray the actual content. So, the public nowadays are really depending on the main title without reading the whole news. So because of that, certain clickbait kind of titles can create different perceptions and different perspective. Or in extreme cases, it can actually create misunderstanding. Now, because of this, it can create a lot of issues. It can create crisis. It can create misunderstandings. It can create some sort of misinformation about certain issues. So clickbait kind of title is very dangerous. So if you want to create an ethical digital content, the first simple thing to do is make sure your title is accurate, not simply by ensuring that the title is that might gather a lot of clicks, right? Avoid that kind of title. Okay. Number three, the speed of information dissemination in the digital age makes it harder to verify sources and ensure accuracy, leading to potential ethical breaches. Because everything is very fast nowadays, it can simply be sent to, to people around the world less than a second. So every seconds, every minute, more and more information is being disseminated around the world. Okay, so it is a challenge for us to filter out every single information out there, right? So whatever it is, whatever method that we can use, this can pose a challenge because the speed of information is keep on adding and adding and adding, right? Where sometimes in certain stage, information overload can happen, right? So these are some of the challenges that we must overcome in our digital age nowadays. Okay. The next subtopic that we're going to talk about here today is the challenges posted by social media and user-generated content. This is what I was talking about. Nowadays, most people can create content. Or I can simply say everyone can be a content creator, whether from a single Facebook post or even an Instagram image that you share online. Okay, so because of this, there are a lot of challenges. The first one is the spread of misinformation, because everyone can simply share without verification. So there is a lot of misinformation out there. There are a lot of fake news or fake information that are available online. If you simply Google a topic nowadays in Google search engine, the search result, we can't guarantee every search result is accurate, right? Because everyone can simply generate content. Okay. And then the next challenge is in terms of anonymity and accountability. Because everything is online, there is no registration of every users. Everyone is anonymous. So we cannot really verify who really creates certain content. Is it the official government? Is it an official body? Or is it just someone sitting in front of a computer? So that is a very big challenge that we pose nowadays. So that's why when you look at issues that someone is facing, cyberbullying, for example, cyberbullying is easy to happen because the people who participated in cyberbullying, they are mostly anonymous. So that's why there is no sense of responsibility if something bad happens. Everyone can simply leave negative comments without any effects. Now, that is one big challenge that we need to overcome. Right. And lastly is in terms of echo chambers. So what is echo chambers? This relates with algorithms in digital media. For example, in TikTok, for example. So TikTok have an algorithm based on the things that we search online. Right? For example, let's say I'm going to use a political example here. You have party A, you have politician A, and you have politician B. Right? So let's say in TikTok, you search about politician A. Okay, so the TikTok algorithm will look on your search keywords. So based on the search keyword, it will give out content that relates with your search keywords. For example, politician A. So all content regarding politician A, especially if you search positive things, it will come up in your TikTok feeds. Okay, however, in terms of politician B, you might not receive information about him. Why? Because it is all based on algorithm. So this algorithm creates echo chambers. So echo chambers can create biases, reinforcing biases and limiting exposure to certain diverse perspective. especially, for example, I'm going to give examples of what is happening in Gaza, in Palestine today. When you look at your TikTok feeds, there are a lot of issues that highlight what is happening in Palestine. So I'm going to give you two perspectives. One is perspective of algorithms that happening here in Asia region. Another one is that is happening in the Western region. So when you look at the Asian region, you can see that most of the FYP in TikTok feeds shows positive supports toward the Palestinians, while when you look at the Western algorithm, you will see more supports toward the Israelis because that is their perspective of searches in the Western side. They are more positive toward the other side, while on the Asian side, it is more supportive towards the other sides. So that's why the exposure of content is different because of the algorithm. So maybe those in Western do not have the same amount of positive exposures toward Palestine and vice versa, right? Okay. Now, how do you ensure that you want to overcome fake news? What should we do? First is, of course, the basic. You must equip yourself with media literacy. Now, what is media literacy? So it is actually developing critical thinking skills to navigate the digital landscapes. You know where to search your information on. For example, if you want to search about health information, where should you go? Should you go to some certain public figures, or you should go to the official website of the health ministry, for example? Now, that is the media literacy that you must equip yourself with. Okay. Number two is always do fact checking. Whatever news, especially critical news, factual news, data that is based on facts and figures, please do some sort of fact checking. Okay, make sure you check whatever information that you want to consume is based on facts and figures, not just based on rumors, right? Okay, and the last one is platform responsibility. Yeah, okay. If an organization, for example, such as Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, they have the responsibility to combat the spread of fake news or misinformation. The thing that they can do is they allow for flagging of false content. You can submit report, okay, and also promoting responsible information sharing. So these are the three main things on what you can do to combat the spread of false information, or in other words, fake news. Right. Now, when you are delving in the digital ecosystem, whether you are using your social media, whether you are surfing the internet, or whether just for entertainment, please understand that there are three things that you must fully understand. First is in terms of data collection. You need to know that most of the application is collecting your personal data. For example, your name, your race, your age, even your security ID numbers, your bank data. So please ensure that when you key in or input data, make sure it is only for official business or for something that is really necessary, or on a platform that you really trust. If not, do not simply share your personal data, because these data are being collected by the platforms. Okay. Now, and the second one is informed consent, right? Especially when you are using applications such as social media, they will ask for your consent to share information. Some users just simply say agree without really reading what is the content of the agreement. So next time when you want to install something, please first read the agreement, whether you really agree with it or not, because this will determine what are being shared and what is not being shared, right? And lastly, digital footprint. There is a saying, if it's online, it is forever there. So whatever happened online, it will always stay there. Even if you delete it in your computers, in your mobile phone, it will always be there. So be careful on whatever things that you posted online, right? For example, nowadays, employees or organization, they will do background check online or digital footprint checking, where this organization will look at your social media activities, your social media postings, what you do online, your search histories, to see the kind of person you are. So if you somehow practice something unethical online, it can create some sort of negative effect towards yourself. So this is very important. So make sure you have a clean digital footprint. Do not involve yourself in illegal or unethical activities online, because it will bite you back in the future, right? Okay. Now, we cannot avoid any biasness in digital media 100%, but we can ensure that we can control it, especially in terms of representation and diversity in media content. First, your content must be a fair representation. That is the most ethical thing that we can do, a fair representation. You do not have any biases toward races, ethnicities, genders, or abilities, or just simply facts, giving out facts, right? Second one is challenging stereotypes. Okay, media plays a powerful role in shaping perceptions. It's essential to challenge harmful stereotypes and to promote positive and nuanced representation of all people. And number three, amplifying marginalized voices. Now, this is one of the strengths of digital media. It can help in amplifying marginal voices, especially the minorities. So, if you practice ethical practices in media generation or media content creation, you can help to amplify these marginalized voices. You can be the voice of these minorities if you do it the right way, right? Okay. Now, ethical use of data and algorithms. Okay. First is in terms of transparency. Algorithms should be transparent and explainable. This allows individuals to understand how the data is being used and to identify potential biases or discriminatory outcomes. Now, when you use social media, especially, there is always an algorithm behind it. It is important for you to really understand how the algorithm works, so you know where your data is going to. Okay? And the second one is accountability. Companies and institutions should be accountable for the ethical use of data and algorithm. This includes mechanism of oversight, redress, and transparency in decision making. Now, you must ensure when you sign up for something online, you know where your data are going to be used as, right? And also companies must also make things clear what kind of data are being recorded, so the users can be more transparent with all the activities. Okay. And lastly is bias mitigation. Effort should be made to mitigate bias in algorithm. Try to understand that if you are working in a media organization, whatever algorithm that is being used, it is always good to always avoid biasness, right? Okay. Now, what are the tools for ethical media engagement? How do we ensure that when we create media content, it is ethical? First, before creating, you must apply fact checking. Always practice fact checking. Now, it is important to verify information from multiple sources. Remember, the keyword here is multiple sources, and use reputable fact checking websites to ensure accuracy. When you want to give out especially when you want to give out information that is factual, always start with fact checking before you disseminate this kind of information based on several sources, especially using official sources. It cannot be based only from one source. It must be based on multiple sources. So whatever facts that you're given out, it is solid, right? Now, the second one is source evaluation. Whatever content that you consume online, you must check where is it coming from. Is it from a dependable body? Is it from a trustworthy organization? Is the organization giving out the information reputable, right? And the third one is diversity of voices. Seek diverse perspectives and viewpoints to present a balanced and representative narrative, especially if you are involved in news reporting, factual content, just simply trying to report on certain issues. You must have different perspectives to give you a clearer picture on what is going on, right? With this different perspective, we can avoid certain level of bias. Right. Now, the role of media institutions is promoting ethical practices. So for media institutions, they must be responsible not only by creating media content, but also help in promoting ethical practices. First, again, accuracy is very important. It must be a norm for media institution to prioritize accuracy above all. So this is where fact-checking come into play. Robust internal policies ensure accurate reporting. Before anything come out, it must be filtered out in terms of fact-checking, right? And of course, training and ethics. There must be training programs to promote fairness and transparency. This is to ensure that whoever are involved in content generation, they are well informed or well educated in terms of media ethics. And of course, lastly, in terms of standards and accountability, there must be a certain standard that we must follow when we want to generate certain media content, right? And also in terms of enforcing these standards can address misinformation and ethical data use. For example, if someone create some sort of fake news and it is being disseminated around, certain actions must be able to be taken, right? Okay. Now, in the perspective of students, how do you ensure that we are safe from misinformation or unethical media content? First is critical consumption. I believe that most of students nowadays, 90% of information are based on digital media, right? So we are consuming, or students nowadays are consuming a lot of digital media. So to ensure that we consume only the right kind of content, we must practice critical consumption. So what is critical consumption? First, you must question the information. Is it logical? Is it factual? Verify the sources. Who is it coming from? Is it from a respectable person, or is it from a established organization? And be aware of potential biases in media content. You must identify whether are there certain bias element in it or not. So if you see certain biasness, you may assume that information is biased on one side. You need to have a clearer picture, right? Second one is you need ethical engagement. You can only share and promote ethical media practices, challenging misinformation, and promoting accurate reporting, right? So when you are dealing with content online or participating in online conversation, you must be ethical. Try to avoid being involved in online criticism, online arguments that is not based on facts and figures, right? Especially when we are talking about sensitive issues. Okay. And lastly is to advocate for change, support ethical media organizations, and advocate for policy changes that promote responsible media practices. Right? Okay. Now, educating the next generation of media consumers and creators to ensure that the next kind of users really practice ethical media creation processes. You must equip themselves with the right amount of education. The first one is in terms of critical thinking skills. Okay, media literacy education is crucial for helping individuals to develop the skills they need to navigate the digital media landscape. For example, this includes critical thinking, source evaluation, and of course, fact checking. So the new generation must have this kind of critical thinking skills, right? Second one is ethical media practices. Okay, students should be taught about ethical media practices. This includes the principle of accuracy, fairness, transparency, and responsible information sharing. Don't simply share whatever you see online. Just because you think it is interesting doesn't mean it is true. Okay, and the third one is digital citizenship. Okay, understanding the responsibilities associated with being a digital citizen is vital. So when we are involved digitally online, whether through your social media platforms or participating in online forums, you are actually being a citizen in a digital world. So you have a responsibility as an actual citizen. Okay, this includes respecting each other's privacy, being mindful of the impact of online actions, for example, your comments, your postings, and also promote a positive online environment, right? So this is very important to educate our next generation of media consumers. So we don't have a very toxic online digital ecosystem, right? Okay, so as a conclusion, in our digital age, media ethics is more crucial than ever. By embracing ethical principles, we can shape a more informed, responsible, and trustworthy media landscape. So I encourage for us to work together to create a future where media serves as a force for good in our society. So basically, media ethics should be practiced to ensure that our media content, our media environment, our digital environment especially is safe, is dependable if we need to find some sort of information or content that we want to consume. Right? I think that's it for my short presentation today. So thank you so much. If you have any question, you can ask. Yeah, I have one question here. In the digital age, misinformation spreads rapidly. Should social media platform be held legally accountable for the spread of fake news, or is it solely responsible for users to verify information? Okay, this is a good question. Who should be responsible? Is it the user or is it the media platform? So basically, like I said before, it is a two-party responsibility. First is in terms of the user, there must be certain enforcement of legal actions that can be done. Let's say if someone from the user just simply comment on something negative, there should be action taken to that particular user. However, on the other side, for social media platform, there must be some sort of control that can be implemented to ensure that whatever content that being disseminated, distributed using that platform is under control. Okay, for example, TikTok. You can see what happened to TikTok in a few days where they are being, or I can say Facebook. You can see in the last few years, Facebook need to explain something in front of the Senates of the United States to really identify, are the data being shared in Facebook, is it safe or is it not? So both party must play a responsibility, must take responsibility, the user themselves and also the platform. All right. So I hope I can answer your question. Any other question? Okay, another question. Cancel culture has become a major phenomenon on social media. Does publicly exposing individual or ethical behavior promotes accountability, or does it violate principle of fairness and due process? All right. This is actually the effect of being unethical, actually. So if you are being unethical, for example, your posting is very controversial without considering the moral value, without considering the sensitivity of religion, the sensitivity of races or culture, you can be cancelled. That is the effect, right? But at the same time, publicly exposing individual for unethical behavior, does it really promote accountability? On one hand, it is. Sometimes it is necessary to expose certain individuals, especially when you see this keep on repeating, keep on repeating, that it is necessary. However, certain privacy must also be respected, especially in terms of free speech, as long as it is not creating certain crisis or chaos in the community. There is certain level of freedom of speech that can be allowed. However, if it crosses certain lines, of course, certain actions must be taken. Right? Okay, another question is from Kinan. Many news organizations rely on advertising revenue, sometimes leading to bias reporting in favor of sponsors. How can media outlets maintain editorial independence while ensuring financial sustainability? Okay, this is how do you ensure that you want to make sure your news is actually still interesting? So with interest, only then sponsors will come, right? So most of the news nowadays, they rely on clickbaits, but this is actually not an ethical practice. Clickbaits, it can gather views, but it is unethical. So we have to go back to the journalism practice. How do you make sure your content is interesting without using clickbaits? Now, this is where the media outlet should be responsible and also should be creative in that manner, right? So we can, even though there is a clear easy, for example, let's say we have one sensational news. If you create certain clickbaits, you can guarantee hits. Okay, but a good journalist or a good reporter can use an interesting title without appearing as clickbaits. Now that is what differentiate a good journalist or a bad journalist, right? Okay, so I hope that answered the question. If there is no more question, I think I give it to you, Novita.
Thank you for answering. Before I close this event, for all participants, please open your camera. I will take a picture on the count of three for documentation. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, another one. One. Thank you. Thank you for your interpretation. Finally, we come to the end of visiting lecture today. We would like to thank you for Dr. Habee for the wonderful information sharing your knowledge. We hope this information will be beneficial for our participants. At least we hope to have a collaboration in the future with University of Malaysia Perlis. The visiting lecture for today and here. We will see you soon. Thank you and have a nice day. Thank you so much. Goodbye.